So I'm here in Honfleur, France for the next few days, and boy, I couldn't be happier. What a surprise. This really way exceeded my expectations. In fact, it wasn't even on my planned agenda. This was a kind of a diversion because I didn't want to do something else. And you know, that's the way it goes. Sometimes you get these major surprises that, you know, you really enjoy. In fact, I enjoyed this one so much, I'm going to stay here for 3 days. So, yeah. So what I learned is Honfleur was founded by the Vikings in the 800s, but most people date it back to the 1100s when it was traded between the English and the French, meaning it was dominated by the English, and then the French took it back, and then the English took it back, and that went on for several centuries. But a lot of history here. So this city was particularly lucky during World War II. It didn't get bombed, and it remained rather untouched, and so they lucked out compared to other neighboring cities, and it shows because a lot of the buildings that are here in the city, including the apartment that I'm actually renting, and I'm going to show you that, so hang out in the video and I'm going to show you this amazing apartment that I'm renting for 3 days. But a lot of these buildings date back to the 15th century. Yeah, 400 to 500 year old buildings all over the city, including my apartment, so hang out for a bit. Large building you see in the back there is St. Catherine's Church, the oldest wooden church in all of France, built in the 1500s, and it has quite a story. So hang out with me, I'll take you inside there later. So Honfleur is considered one of the most beautiful cities or villages in all of France. So it has a pretty popular tourist crowd that shows up every year. It also has a large yachting crowd, people who like to bring their boats here, and a lot of artists seem to find their way here. You're going to see art shops everywhere. In fact, Monet and Monet's mentor was born here, and Claude Monet did a lot of paintings here. So, you know, pretty famous actually for artists and people who like boating, and just the town is so beautiful. It just gets a lot of attention. So here's a little fun fact for you. The town gets its name, Honfleur. It's actually a Scandinavian word, and it means the shelter of a Norse settler. So it's Scandinavian, Honfleur, which means the shelter of a Norse settler. So another very interesting fact is that the founder of the French Empire in North America, you know, Samuel de Champlain, sailed the first ship from Honfleur in 1603. You know, considered the father of the new France in North America, founding Quebec, Canada. And but it all happened right here from Honfleur, where he sailed his ship from. And you know, ironically, I used to live in Quebec, and I used to go to Quebec City a lot, and there are definitely similarities between some of the buildings in Quebec City and here in Honfleur. So, you know, we have to thank Samuel de Champlain for all of that, I guess. So, really interesting. So if you're arriving in nearby Lehavre on a cruise ship, as many do, there's nothing to do over there. Get yourself over here and spend the day over here. Or if you have more than a day, spend 3 days like I'm doing. This is where it's at. This town definitely deserves your attention. And if you happen to stumble across my video by chance, consider paying a visit here and spending 2 or 3 or 4 days here and just hanging out and eating some of the great seafood and enjoying these amazing architectural buildings. So in just a minute, I'm going to take you inside the ancient apartment that I'm renting for the next 3 days. And I do mean ancient. I think the building is more than 400 years old, but it's really colorful and really interesting. So hang out with me for a bit. I'm also going to take you inside France's oldest wooden church, which is 500 years old. Looks like an upside down boat. So hang out with me for a bit. But you know, do me a favor and give this video a like if you're enjoying it. And I hope you become a subscriber and check out some of my other adventures. And I have a lot of them all throughout Europe and other cruise ports. And I live in Bangkok, Thailand, so there's a lot of videos about Southeast Asia. But yeah, subscribe and do some adventures with me, and love to have you along. So this town really impressed me because every corner I turned and everywhere I went, there was a discovery. I mean, I could walk through a tunnel here and walk down an alley here, and you know, it really was amazing. I just never got bored here, and really interesting, really beautiful. And you know, even if architecture is not totally your thing, if you want to head into the shops and look at all the artwork that's for sale, oh my gosh, there is just so much artwork here. A lot of artists are painting here. So this is a really easy town to just find a really cozy cafe, get yourself a good hot Americano, some pastries, and just people watch from your window. As you can see, I did a lot of this. So my apartment's on the back side of this church, and let me tell you, you know the church is there because you hear the bells ringing throughout the day and even into the evening, but it's really interesting. So my apartment is right down this street, right directly behind this ancient church. And so I'm gonna take you in there now, and it's kind of interesting how I get in. So there's no front desk or anything like that. I just got an email with a lockbox, and a lady just sent me a code for the lockbox. So I got the key, and then I had to let myself in and figure it out. And so here we go, we're going in. This is the first time I'm ever going in here. So I had no idea where I was going. These are the stairs. There's a rope for a railing if you look to the right. It's just a piece of rope, and then you get to the top of these ancient stairs, and then I had to figure out how to get in with the key. And well, hang on, and we'll go inside and I'll show you around. Okay, so I have arrived at my one-bedroom apartment here in the city, and I'll tell you, this is colorful, authentic, really old. I think this building is 500 years old, 400 years old. It's something else. Anyway, it doesn't have the creature comforts of normal, but it definitely feels, you know, really authentic, really French, and it's going to be an interesting couple days. 3 days, actually, I'll be in this apartment. Let me show you around. So, it smells a little musty. It's really old. I mean, it's really, really ancient building. And this is the entire apartment. They call it an apartment, it has a kitchen. The building back in the courtyard is actually falling down. You can see they've braced it up. But boy, really interesting. Let me show you the, okay, the shower. So I'm staying here 2 nights. I'm paying $158 US to stay here 2 nights. I think it's a good deal. Wow. So there's the view of my apartment from the back side. Those are my windows. And this here, right across the street, is the bell tower for the ancient church, right across the street. And you hear those bells throughout the day and early evening, but really right in the middle of everything here. So here it is. This is St. Catherine Church, which is the largest wooden church in all of France, built by shipbuilders. And it's pretty obvious because what happened here is they literally built 2 ships and turned them upside down because that's what they knew how to build, and that's what they build well. And so that's why the church looks like that. And it's very beautiful and very famous and built 500 years ago in the 1500s. So I want to be clear, it isn't just like 1 or 2 streets that have these ancient buildings that you just walk down and you're done in a couple hours. You couldn't do all of these streets in the city in 1 day. So it's extensive. It's pretty big. I mean, you can just go and go and go. It just depends on how much energy you have. But there are many streets filled and lined with these historic buildings that are perfectly preserved. And you can really get lost for a few days. And believe me, there are more restaurants and cafes than you could ever dream of. And every single one I ate in was out of this world. So you're not going to get bored here. And this, in my opinion, is a top pick. You will really enjoy this place. I really, really loved it. So we still got a ways to go in this video, but I just want to remind you, if you're visiting other ports because you're on a cruise or you're just looking for other cities to visit, I hope you'll check out my video in London in the UK and Bath in the UK. I also did a really amazing video in Amsterdam as well as Ghent, Belgium. So check out some of these other videos. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it.